what do you think was it that attracted you to me? And then I can get into what attracted me to you.
At the age that we were, I think you was like mature, like you.
Just by my looks. Or how I carried myself.
And how you carried yourself. And also the way you act too, you know, like everything was like no, you're older, but like
I'm still
you
young.
exactly. You don't act 29. You act like
Grandma Pearl.
So, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I've always been ahead of my time. Me being mature is what made me gravitate to you, because it felt like you needed like a lot of guidance, instruction. You know, you were like really innocent deep inside, but on the exterior, you were like really tough, but it was like something missing. And I was like, well, you know, we could journey together. Like, I didn't really have an expectation, but I felt like my nurturing was something you needed.
Yeah, I felt like that too.
In what way? Like, do you, like the maturity you felt like, oh, she's about to bring me far in life? Like, how did, what was it?
No. I felt like I found something that I wasn't looking for.
Oh.
And like, you
looked up. Like, what did I do to deserve this?
Yeah, in some way, yes, I did.
Yeah.
Like, cause like the way my life was going and the way
your life was going.
It was
okay.
like in reality,
like iron sharpen
in a
iron.
Perfect world, we shouldn't even cross
Collide,
paths.
right?
Like, you get what I'm saying? So like,
yeah.
I'm
like yin and yang.
Yeah, I'm a lucky man, cause like you know this, like. We don't have a lot of things in common.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't.
I feel like the reinventing or creating our own path on our own terms was something like we had agreed upon. It's something that we had, we always had big dreams, big desires.
Exactly.
And that is what, I think that is what helped us decide on marriage, is because we seemed like we had the same goals, and not the same goals, but we knew certain things, like certain things were non-negotiable. Like, we wanted to have a house by here. We wanted to be independent. We had those things in agreement. But, on the podcast, we really want to talk about like all the things that they don't tell you in life, love, and in the quest for success, right? And so in life, love, and quest for success, or they don't tell you the impact of young love, right? You see like grandmas or aunties would be like, oh, you'll get over him. Oh, don't stick with the first one you see or choose, right? Yeah. Those are the things that nobody told me, but I heard maybe in TV shows, or somebody's aunt may have told them, and I heard it, secondhand. But I think it's special, that we did meet young, and we did fall in love young. We built a friendship young. It has a lot of pros, and there's some downfalls.
It's a lot of pros and cons, because like we got to know each other. Like like when we was getting into marriage.
Right.
Like we knew
who each other was.
Exactly.
There was no. I mean, my narrative might change a little bit when we kind of talk about like being married, and the hardships in that. But I feel like what we're both saying is like we didn't have any hidden skeletons in our closet. Yeah, exactly. We had journeyed with each other for a very long time, since we was 15, exactly. Right? So, and I think it's a lot of naivete. Like, I was very naive, and I didn't realize that until a few months ago, that I was a very naive human being and child and woman.
Yeah, it was like, this is the way I learned, and this is the way it should be done.
Yes.
You get what I'm
saying?
And so... And that came in conflict with, like,
where we were going.
Yeah, with me and
Right.
like with you, and
Right.
because our upbringing is totally different.
Right.
So you know.
Right. Like I grew up with my grandparents, although you were raised, for a certain amount of years with your grandparents. Those who came before us, those standard roles, like the man does this and the woman does this, but in Young Love, we're both growing and we are both starting at zero with nothing. So sometimes like in our relationship, I was always like focused on being stable and things like that. You kind of like, which is the innocence about, as we were young, right? So when you're 20, you don't have a deep desire to be like, I need to get in corporate America. I need to do this. Like you was
thinking about something.
right. But me, I was always like thinking 10 years ahead. What I'm really trying to say is like, there's a life I didn't live. So there's a level of, I don't know what they don't always tell you about Young Love, because I went into a route that a lot of people don't go into. People leave their first boyfriends, people move on, people relocate, but we didn't. Like, when you did relocate, you came back. When you did hit a big milestone in your life, like getting someone pregnant, that was not me. And me sticking around as your friend and then rekindling a love, that was me being naive. I was just like, he ain't got no kids with me, and yeah, that's his business, and I'm out here trying to go to college, and I'm out here trying to work, and that's his burden. I'll be there to be his friend, and we could. I didn't realize like, oh, Khalifa, well, you're kind of accepting it. And even though you saying like it's not your children and you can leave at any time because you're not married and you didn't leave, right? So then you end up with a life that you technically didn't set out for, because that was me being naive, right? Like you had a child. Most people would say, all right, well, you got to leave him alone now. Mm-hmm. So why do you think like even when you hit that milestone of having a child so young,
I think.
Well, why did we stay? Why did our relationship grow from there? Why?
Like, I'm not a bad person, and you always, like, you know me, so you know, like, okay, I went and got someone pregnant. It's not on a malicious intent, and you know I love you, and I used to always tell you that. You used to always tell me that. So you was hoping love would get us through this. Love did, though. Right, you right. So. But for me, I just felt like I could be there for you. Like, this was some, kind of like a friend. Like, if you were a girl, right? If you were my home girl, right? And my home girl went and got pregnant, and she went and started living a life that I didn't yet live, right? I wouldn't throw her away, or I wouldn't judge her and think that she's less than, or she's a discarded human being. Because what a man would say is that a woman who already has a child, she's maybe is not useful no more. You get what I'm saying? Like, she's washed up. But for me, I didn't look at you in that lens, and I think that's the woman in me. And then, because a man will have a different perspective. Now, had the roles been different, and I had a child first, and we were getting back in a friendship after that, you probably would have been like, all right. Well, you would have not been trying to still be in that. I don't know that, because, like, you was always different. Like, I'm not even fronting or nothing. So, I don't know. Maybe I would do the same
thing. But take me out of it.
But you also I was young when I first had my first child.
Yeah, you were young.
It wasn't like I was like, like.
So what about what they don't tell you about becoming a father early? What were you not prepared for?
I didn't hear nothing at all. So
it didn't hit you that you were having a kid?
No, it didn't hit me. My first child, it didn't hit me. The second one.
Well, you had your kids pretty close together, so and again, they were not from me. So you felt, and okay, even in that process of you having a child, like, why did you choose to not create a foundation with your child's mother? Let's talk about that.
Trances, going off to different places, different planets. But your aura passed me by, losing balance.